Let us understand how you can first do the payment and receipt entries into the system and then do the reconciliation. So for that, you just need to go to the navigation option, go to the cash and bank management section. For doing the receipt entries, you need to select one of these options, and for booking the payment entries, you need to select one of these options. So let's first book the receipt entries. Payment has been received from your customer. So for that, you need to click on the bank receipt from Debtor. So here you can enter the posting date. So let's see, we have also uploaded our bank statement. So let's take up one of the transaction from here and book the same receipt entry. So on 4 January, we have received 4,20,000 payment. Okay. So here you can, on payment entry form, you can enter the posting date as 4th January. You can enter the posting branch here, mode of payment. You can select the party, the customer from which you have received the payment. You can select the bank account and you can enter the amount as 4,20,000. And you can just go to the reference section and add the invoice against which you have received the payment. And you just need to add that invoice and click on the add invoice. After adding the invoice, you can allocate the payment amount. As against this customer, default TDS category has been set. So TDS has been auto calculated by the system. So you just need to enter the reference number, bank reference number, and you just need to enter the reference date. And you just need to click on the save and submit option. So this entry is still in unreconciled form. Now, again, going back to the bank reconciliation form, you just need to click on this transaction and you will see that the receipt entries which we have booked in the system is appearing here. So this is the second way of reconciling the bank statement. First book the payment and receipt entries and then do the reconciliation. So clicking on that transaction, you will see that the receipt or payment which you have booked will appear against that transaction. So you just need to click on the reconcile. So now let's book the payment entry. So going back to the navigation option, suppose you have made any payment to your vendor. So for that, you need to select the new payment creditor option. Let's take up one of the transactions from the bank reconciliation form. Suppose 2,17,029 rupees has been debited from the statement of 5th January for the payment which you have made to your vendor. So let's book the payment entry. So in this case, when you book the payment or receipts first into the system and then do the reconciliation, in that case, you will have to fill up all the details on the payment entry form page. If you are doing directly the receipt and payment entries from the bank reconciliation form, all the details will get pre-filled. So this is the mainly difference of doing the bank reconciliation directly from the bank reconciliation form, in which it will save your time as all of the details are pre-filled. You just need to add the invoice. And in this case, when you are booking the payment and receipt entry first into the system and then reconciling it, in that case, you will have to fill up all the details into the system. So here you need to enter the posting date. So we have taken the transaction of 2,17,000. The date on which it has been debited is 5th January. So select your posting date as 5th January. Mode of payment you need to select posting branch. Here you can select the party name. Here you can enter the bank account number from which you have made the payment to your vendor. Your 2,17,029 rupees, the payment amount. In case you have made the advance payment to your vendor, you just directly need to click on the save. So we forgot entering the reference number and reference date. So again, close this and fill up the check reference number and reference date. So if in case of on account payment, it means you have made the advance payment to your vendor. So in that case, you can directly save the entry without adding the outstanding invoice. As we are making the advance payment to our vendor, the invoice we are going to receive later on in future. So this is how you can directly book the on account entries by just saving and submitting it. So here the payment entry has been submitted and here you can see the entry is still in the unreconciled form. So again, going back to the bank reconciliation form, click on that transaction. And here you can see the entry, the payment entry which we have booked in the system is appearing here. You just need to directly reconcile it. So for making any on account payment entries directly from the bank reconciliation form, let us understand that also. Suppose 2,02,138 rupees we have paid to one of our vendor, the advance payment we have made. So how to book the on account entries directly from the bank reconciliation form? Click on the action, go to the new payment collection. New payment collection option is for if you are making payment to your vendor or if you are receiving the payment from your customer. So for that, you always need to choose the option of new payment collection. So let's choose this option. Enter the supplier name and click on the submit. So you will be directed to the payment entry form. And as this is the on account payment entry we are booking, you just need to click on the save and submit option. So your on account entry will get submitted. So under cash and bank management section also, we have different options like the options which we have seen on the bank reconciliation form. So on bank reconciliation form, we have seen these options. First option was the new payment collection. New payment collection is for if we have made any payment to our supplier or we have received the payment from our customer. Such options we also saw that how we can book the bank receipt and bank payment first. So here also we have the same option for making any payment to your supplier. For that you need to select the new bank payment to creditor option. For if you have received any payment from your debtor, you need to select the option new bank receipt from debtor. Second option on the bank reconciliation form was the bank entry option. Same under the navigation section we have the option. If you want to book the payment entry or receipt entries other than your customer or vendor. In that case, no customer and vendor is involved. You are making payment for indirect expenses such as stationery expenses, food and refreshment expenses. For that, you need to book the bank entry or if you have received the any refund such as the GST refund or TDS refund. For that, you need to book the bank entry. Bank entry option is your under the bank payment section. You can see here the new other expenses and payment option is there. You just need to click on that option and you can see the bank entry page will open up. If you are making any payment, you need to select the pay outward option. And if you have received any amount, so you just need to click on the received inward option. Coming back again to the cash and bank management section, if you want to book any Forex receipt from Debtor, so you can select this option as new Forex receipt from Debtor. Here you can select the date, posting date on which you have received the amount. You can enter the posting branch. You can enter the mode of payment here. Select your party enter the bank account in which the payment has been received. You can select the payment currency and you can enter the exchange rate here. Exchange rate as per your bank payment invoice. And you can enter here the payment USD. How much amount you have received in USD. If you have received the on account, you just directly need to save and submit the entry. And if this amount you have received against the invoice, you need to click on the add outstanding invoice. You need to select the invoice. Suppose for 2 invoices you have received this amount, you can just select those invoice and add invoice. And you can just directly, here you can see the exchange gain loss has been auto calculated by the system. You can just enter the reference number and reference date and just submit the entry. So this is how you can book the Forex receipt entry. Same as for if you have made the Forex payment to your creditor, you need to select the option of Forex payment to the creditor. Same form will open up. It's just that in this, if you are making the payment here, the payment type will be as pay, as you are making payment to your vendor. So fill up the details such as posting date, on which date you have made the payment to your vendor. So let's say 4 January you have made the payment. Here you can select the posting branch. After entering the posting branch, here you can enter the mode of payment as wire transfer. Here you can enter the supplier name. Here you can enter the bank account from which you have made the payment to your vendor. Here you can select the payment currency. Here you can enter the exchange rate. And you just need to enter the payment amount in USD. And here if you have made the on account payment to your supplier, it means that you have made any advance payment. You can directly save and submit the entry. In case you have made the payment against any invoice, then you can allocate the invoice from here by clicking on the add outstanding invoice. Let's save the entry. Let's say this payment we have done to our supplier on account payment. It means that we have made an advance payment. So we can directly enter the reference number, bank reference number and the reference date, and you can directly submit the entry. So your entry has been, Forex payment entry has been submitted. Again, going back to the cash and bank management section, here we have different options such as new bank charges. Same as we have saw the option of book as bank charge on the bank reconciliation form, we have option here as a book bank charges. You can directly book the bank charges from here also. So for booking the bank charges, purchase invoice form will open up. Here you need to enter the reference number, bank reference number, the supplier invoice date, the date on which the bank has debited the bank charges from your bank statement. Here you can select the supplier as bank. Here you can select your company's posting branch. You can select the subnature as bank expense. You can enter the item here as a bank charges. Enter the amount. If the bank has charge you the amount with GST, you can select your as bank charges taxable. So GST will be auto calculated by the system. In case bank has not charged any GST, then you can directly select item as bank charge non-taxable and enter the amount. So GST amounts will show as 0 and you can directly save. So here we are booking the bank charge, but we forgot to enter the amount. So select the bank account from which the bank charges has been debited. So let's go to the payment section. Enter the mode of payment as bank. Here enter the bank account. And enter the payment amount. And then save the entry. So your bank charges has been booked.